you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy day after the 4th of July. How was your guys' 4th?
It was very nice.
Yeah, relaxing or party mode?
No, relaxing. Yeah.
It was like a war outside.
I know. Definitely.
I saw all the fireworks.
It was a lot of fireworks this year, definitely at my house. I didn't go anywhere. I just had like a little pool thing, had some family over. But it was good. So, I hope all you champions had an amazing 4th of July.
Yes.
And here we are. And this Sonia and Elizabeth and I were talking. This particular show, this particular series, this, particular day, what we want to deliver is something a little different. So we are going to have a conversation about the thing that people are talking about the most, which is the change in market and the recession. So, and I want to let you guys know, prior to coming on, we did something, like I said, a little bit different, where we really didn't talk amongst ourselves to compare our thoughts on the recession, to compare, what it was that we were either researching or feeling. And so I'm really excited about talking about this today. I feel like it's something that I know a lot of our agents have reached out to me and they're asking about what's going to come of the market. Are we in a recession? What is happening with the market, what I predict. So before we begin the conversation, you guys, I want to say something regarding a recession. I think a lot of the time what people forget is, in order for us to be considered there's Ashley walking around in the background.
Hi.
I'm in my office this time, so I'm not in the conference room. In order for us to be in a quote unquote recession, what does that even mean, right? Like economically, what does that even mean, first off? Because people hear the word and they suddenly get panicked. They get stressed out. They feel like the world is ending, in a sense, that economically we're all falling into oblivion. And in reality, we hit quite a few recessions, even without talking about it and knowing it, because all it is when the economy hits a deficit for 2 quarters in a row. So after 2 quarters in a row, if there is a decline in the economy as a whole, meaning products, goods, services, all of the economy across the country, and they even look at it, globally in some cases, but we're talking, right now, this particular economic recession, which is, the US, and it's 2 quarters. So a lot of times when people are asking, what do you think is happening? We're falling into a recession, the sky is falling. It's really not as severe as what a lot of the time we make it out to be. And I do have some, and I want to let Elizabeth and Sonia sort of chime in. I don't want to sit here and be, a talk hog at the beginning of this, but I feel like it is time to prepare. It is time to do certain things in your business to make sure that you're ready for what is to come. Because I don't know about you guys, when the 2008 recession hit, now it's a different time. We're going to go into, I think, talking a little bit about this. It's a totally different situation this time around than what we had happen in 2008. That was kind of like a depression, really. But when that hit, I know for one, I was definitely not prepared. And because I wasn't prepared, I sort of backpedaled, had to figure things out, and did things kind of in reverse. And it took me a whole lot longer to recover than had I been prepared. And also I missed out on a lot of opportunity because I was too busy trying to pick up certain pieces of what had happened to me during that time and what happened to the businesses than to be prepared, stay ahead of the game, and make big moves during that time. And so it's a whole different ball game, I feel, this time around, but it's here. And we are officially in what would be called a recession. And so I think that we should, rather than shy away from it, not talk about it, not want to talk about unpleasant things or, bring these things up, it's good to share things, to talk about it so that you guys can have more tools because of the experience that all of us have combined, things that we've gone through. We can share certain things that I know I feel you should be doing right now. And I'm pretty sure you guys do as well. You guys have been in real estate for a long time. So let's do a little, ring around the rosy here. And, and so, first off, before I kind of share what I feel is happening, would you agree, Sonia, with what I just said, that this time it's a different situation than what we were in 2008? And maybe I know that lending really well also, and you are out there dealing with buyers. Elizabeth, you too, but let's start with Sonia and see what is it that you see and how do you feel this is different and what do you think is happening right now?
Well, I feel it's different. I mean, like you mentioned, like nobody really wants to talk about it right now, recession. July 1st, day one. And I shared that with my agents and everybody's like, what do you mean? What should we be doing? And it's not to scare you, and by any means, it's to prepare you and educate you and just to show you the importance of why we have to be, educated right now and why, because otherwise we're going to run with with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to know what's happening in the market. Everybody wants to know. And so myself and some of the agents who wanted to do that, what we were doing was we kind of did like a um, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a test, I guess you could say, and to see if in fact it is true. And so we kind of reached out to certain people who we worked with in the past, and it was all the same. Everybody wants to talk about it, but is scared to talk about it, is afraid what's going to happen, type of thing. So it was actually a good thing because what I've noticed this past weekend is I'm getting calls from buyers who have been on the fence and they're ready. They're getting ready. And but again, there's a lot of misconception as well because some of them are thinking that obviously the prices are going to come down and it's going to they're going to get basically the home for free, and it's obviously we don't see that. We're studying the market daily. We're in there daily looking at what's happening, and yes, we are seeing price reductions, of course, but a lot of times agents are overpricing. And you have to remember some of these homes were listed kind of right at the midst of it. So it's like now, they're starting to have to come down to, more expectations of where a lot of these consumers are. Buyers aren't willing to take on your repair list like they were before. So you have to definitely be open to I see there's different ways. When you go on your listing presentation, the first thing, if you overprice, you're already putting yourself in a bad position. But there's different things you can do. You can talk to your seller about possibly offering, a buy down, a rate buy down instead of a price decrease, because it's not that the value's not there. Values are still there, that's for sure. But it's just how the affordability is more the question right now. Buyers want the home, but it's just the payment. The payment is just higher than what they anticipated initially. So if you can help give them 2 points or whatever it is, let's say that's $10,000, instead of decreasing your price 10,000, give them 10,000, towards their buy down, and that'll help them. There's so, like you're saying, in regards to lending, there's so many different types of loans out there, and a lot of times, we don't, everyone, scared of adjustables because of the 2008. Everybody's like, no, no adjustable, no adjustable. But if you look at the numbers, average consumer or buyer or borrower has their loan for 5 to 7 years. That's typically the average, loan, the time that they have their mortgage, because they refinance for a lower rate, they cash out. And that's another thing. I have clients calling me right now wanting to cash out because they're like you're saying, they're trying to get their money. They know the rate's going to be 5.5, 6%, but they're like, you know what? If I have to go get a private loan somewhere else for these things that I need, I'm going to pay 10, 15, 20%. So you know what? I'm good with having a higher interest rate. So again, it's all about education. And just showing them, why it's not a bad thing and how we've worked through this before. We don't see a lot of, foreclosures. Will we start seeing people getting behind on payments? Probably, because obviously, if their job slows down, if they lose their job, or, if that starts to happen, then yeah, we can start seeing, but there's equity in homes. So, there's ways to work around. There's different options depending on the loan that they're in, as well. So, I mean, in my opinion, right now, I think it's a great time for agents right now. It really, really is. If you want to, you have to work harder because now you have to educate yourself. You need to know a lot more than the average consumer. And right now, you should, because most people knew I could just put a sign in my yard and it's going to sell and you didn't have to do anything for me. Now, what are you going to do to sell my home, to get me where I need to be? And in the same amount of time, more or less. And like I said, a lot of agents, are freaking out because a home isn't selling over the weekend like it was before. You know what? But we're used to that. There's 6 months contracts for a reason, because it took 30, 45, 60 days to sell a home. So you just have to obviously prepare your client who you're working with, set those expectations. But right now, and that's why we're here, is to help educate you guys, so that way you're not running with your clients and afraid. You're there to give that, the answer, making calls every day, letting them know, what's really happening, and not to be afraid. And you have, like I said, you have to be that go-to expert, because right now they don't know where to get the information from. So,
And I think that what is scaring people a little bit, based on certain things that I'm hearing, is so the reality, like, if you look at the data, the reality of the situation across the country, is that the momentum for property appreciation has stalled and declined by probably about 40%. And so when you see a sign like that, where people are not seeing properties appreciate as fast as they were, immediately in their minds they start thinking that they're going to lose money, or that I had COVID last week. I'm disclosing it, and my throat is still.
It's just going around. There's a lot of people
that day on the phone. Remember, you thought I was dying, but
it was so sad.
I kicked it out quick. But
yeah.
anyway, I still have these residues of cough. So when people see the momentum of appreciation stalling or declining, by that much of a percentage, they get a little bit panicked to purchase. They start thinking that it's better to wait. They think, well, interest rates are high, inventory is now increasing. It's going to be, a better opportunity to wait so that I could see what's going to be out there. But I think the thing that people sort of fail to see is that if you look at property value over the course of the long haul, you can't just look at a year or two or three that are stalled, as far as the appreciative value of properties being stalled. You have to look at the whole snapshot. Like you just said, people on average have their home loans for 5 to 7 years, and then a lot of them refinance or they do other things, but they're still maintaining and staying in that property. And so as an agent with buyers, I would tell them right now, in my opinion, the time that other people stall or hesitate to do things is really the time to get into a property and to purchase a property. And the same thing for most sellers. If you think about it, well, it's a good time to sell because most of them are either going to purchase something else. So that's all relative, the sale and the purchase. And then those that don't, we are at a pretty good high right now. And the likelihood of, maybe in a decade it becoming where it's at is, obviously very good. It'll probably be a lot higher, but it's a good thing either way. And I think that the education, like educating yourselves about what a recession is,
Yeah.
where we're at, how to navigate it, what to do, how to talk about it, the reality of it, rather than going into fear mode saying, oh my God, rates are high, I can't, get this buyer into property, it's now going to be a high interest rate. Like, going into that mode is going to do nothing for your business. Like, it's better to educate
Yeah.
yourselves and then to understand what is really happening in the economy. Yeah, we're battling inflation. Yeah, rates are a little bit higher, but look what they were 20 years ago. Look what they were 10 years ago. They're almost back to, I think, what we were before the '08 recession.
And I think a lot of people are focused on, what happened in, '08, and I think that's one of the biggest things, and I think that's why it's so, out there, like, oh, it's going to be just like that. But like you're saying, that in the comparisons, it's, we didn't have, the 5 million 35-year-olds that we have now. We didn't
Good
have, we have
point.
12 million more households today than we did in 2007. So yeah, interest rates, yes, they've increased, which decreased demand or affordability, for a lot of buyers, but the demand is still strong. So most homes are still selling, within the 30 days. But what they're also saying, and what I noticed last week, is rates actually have come down a little bit. And we already know, that, the feds right now are the ones that are kind of have the, the control. They want to stimulate our economy. They want to ease. They don't want to tighten. They don't, so I personally think rates are going to come down a little bit more. And if we end up in the low fours, high threes, even if you have to buy it 2 points or whatever it's costing you, I really think that these buyers are going to be like, oh my God, I got to jump on it now, because they already seen what it looks like at 5 and 6%. And so that's why I tell all my agents, talk to your buyers, keep them there, because their time it's going to be there. And like I said, we're seeing a lot of homeowners that are selling. We call the agents, start talking to them. How is your seller want to sell? Like, do they want to sell? Because in order for them to sell, my client, wants X. If they want to sell, this is what it's going to take in, today. And so a lot of them are like, yeah, they want to sell. They want to do it now because they don't want to wait any longer. So, um, but yeah, I just, like I said, I really don't see the crash. I do see the market, softening, and I do see, it definitely being, it's kind of, benefiting both sides right now, because if your home is in a great area, you've put money into it, it's moving condition, you're still going to get what you want. Opposed to if your home, is not, and it needs work, well, price is everything right now. Price is super important. So don't be afraid to have those conversations. I went on a listing appointment this weekend, and she was not happy with what I had to say, as far as her list price. And I told her, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm not going to call you back in a week or two and tell you to lower your price. This is, important that you do it from the get-go. And like I said, it's not easy to have those conversations, but don't be the agent just because, you feel like, okay, I have to agree with you in order to get the deal. That's not, what you need to do. You need to be honest. And again, if you have the facts, if you're educated, then you have no problem, showing them why.
I've kept quiet for the last 19 minutes and 55 seconds because I'm hearing you guys
Not that
talk.
you're counting.
And I'm counting because honestly, okay, so I'm just going to be honest. I saw the word recession. I wasn't too thrilled about the word because I went through it in 2008. So when I saw the word recession, I don't want to call it recession. I call it the time of adjustment.
How about time of opportunity?
There you go. Yeah. Time of opportunity, time of adjustment. I don't like that word. I lived it. Let me tell you, there was a lot that went on throughout that time, and I was in the lending business. So when I heard that there was no more money in my warehouse line to fund deals, I was going to lose it, but thankfully I saved my money and I was able to live for over a year with my savings. So when I hear about this, I know we talk about our clientele and everything, but I think I'm going to take it on the approach of what are the agents doing in their selves and their personal lives? Because I think that's also important that we need to also dive into. Are they saving their money? Are they adjusting to what's going on? I get it that listen, we're realtors, we make mega millions, make a lot of money. But in times of adjustment, in times of opportunity, like Jennifer said, in her time, you spent time doing other things, but you forgot that you had opportunity that you just missed out on. So for agents, what are you doing right now so that you don't lose out on those opportunities? Are you saving money? Are you readjusting yourselves to what's going to happen? At the same time, speaking with your clients, making sure your production is in. What are you doing differently? So again, it's a lot to it's a big topic. So with that, I mean, I'll just say what I'm doing. I'm just adjusting everything and making sure that I'm going back to basics. Hate to say it, I am cold calling. I am working on scripts. I am what is it, door knocking more. I mean, I'm still white, but I'll get a tan eventually. But I mean, I'm doing all of that stuff because I, again, that word recession, when it happened, it's like people were lost and didn't have a guidance. So I like the fact that we're all three of us are here to be able to guide Remax champions, the agents, everybody out there, your clients. You guide them in the direction that they need to be thriving and going towards. Remember, we are the advisors here, but again, I'm going back to basics because you can't reinvent the wheel. Am I cutting down on certain things that I shouldn't be spending on? Absolutely. You know why? Because I can't wait for that opportunity on a property that's going to come up on the market. If I want to snatch it, I want to be able to know that I didn't need that person. I went to go get that. You know, there's certain things that we have to change. It's an adjustment. People don't like it. People don't like to adjust to things, but it happens. As far as rates are concerned, you guys are going to hate me when I tell you this. I honestly think that rates should be at 7.5%, 8%. I really do. Because then it's going to just adjust and balance things out. It's bound to happen. Well, that's what they claim, because they said that we already went up what 0.7, like 0.75 bibs. They're saying
Our
that's going
banker was saying that by the end of the year, it will go up 3/4 of a point again. I was talking to Scott at American Business Bank. He's like, a nerd when it comes to these things. And then next year, he said another 0.5 point. So I think you're
so
right on. And it's not a
yeah,
bad thing.
it's not a bad thing. Listen, when the pandemic started, I kept telling agents we should be at 7.5%. At 20.5 in 2002, I bought my house at 7.75% interest rate. Then a couple of years later, I was able to refinance at 5.25, and that was a big thing. But I mean, we have to ask, and I've been having talks with agents within my office, and I ask them, what are your clients doing? What are they thinking? I have, certain demographic, and they say that they're more conservative. So they're not even wanting to touch or buy a property. They're waiting for something to come down. Whereas the other demographic is they're taking the opportunity because now is the time to buy. They don't even care about the interest rate because there's so many programs out there for them to buy. And they're noticing that sellers are willing to budge with either closing costs or something because there is that opportunity. So I'm touching bases all around because now I want to know, what is the consumer, what are they doing out there? So do I think interest rates should be higher? I think they do. I think it'll level off. Do I think that we need to adjust to the time? Absolutely. Is there opportunity? Yes, there is. Mm-hmm. At the same time, we got to also work on ourselves. What are we doing with our business so that we can thrive in it as well? So there, I said my 2 cents.
I think that is amazing that you just went over that, because this is a time to increase your income, increase it like however you can do that, sell more houses, or just you need to increase your income so that you can get a little bit cash heavy in this climate. That's
cash is key.
Yeah, and to eliminate, like you have to also take a look at your debt to income ratio right now, as a whole, because those of you that want to even invest in property, So, because it's going to be a good time to do that. Whenever things like this happen, you have to look at it as a time of opportunity, especially us being agents and being in this field. You have to really look at it as that business person as well. I mean, all of the tools and all of the research that you need to service your clients. Of course, you need to be educated in order to service your clients and to advise them in the appropriate way. But they also, obviously are buying and selling. And that's a time for you guys as agents, as entrepreneurs, to look at the product that we're selling. I mean, we're out here selling real estate every day. So we should be out here buying and investing in real estate. Get cash heavy, look at your debt to income ratio. If you don't have a good banker or a good lender that you're working with, start working with one. Have them take a look at your portfolio, have them take a look, at your income versus your debt, what you can qualify for, what you need to do to put yourselves in a position to purchase. Like the way that to look at times like this, where there's a market adjustment, where there's any type of change is, and I've always believed wherever you see, like the herd going, that's kind of where you don't want to be. You want to be doing the opposite. So take a look at what is happening. Take a look at what is going on. People are a little afraid to buy because of interest rates, or they want to wait. Well, it's kind of an opportunity for us to take a look and see what inventory is out there. And then inventory, if you look at the days on market, it's stalled. So the days on market, are a lot there. It's longer now. So it's more of a time of opportunity, I think, for all of us. And just to look at it, look at certain tools and look at things in that way. And it changes your momentum. It changes how you're moving forward in this business. Because in this type of climate, believe me, if you do the work and you do the research and you know your market and you're confident in your market, and you know how to approach any type of situation that comes up in the marketplace, you're going to thrive. Because right now the reality is, and we don't like to talk about a lot of realities, sometimes it's not as comfortable, but in this market, the people that are doing well and that are determined, they're going to do even better. And the ones that are not in motion and they're not educating themselves and they're not applying themselves, their volume's going to go down. So the gap is going to get bigger. Like anytime there's an adjustment in the market, the gap gets bigger between the people that are doing really well, whether it's selling real estate, investing, whatever, or the ones that are not. So it's just some food for thought. Somebody asked a question.
Average commission you are getting.
Oh, what's your average commission you are getting? Okay, ladies.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm seeing the 2%, the 2%ers.
No, 5%.
Oh, well, if it's a full listing, yeah, 5%. I pushed 6. And everyone asked me, how did you get 6? Hello, I'm worth 6%. I mean, I'll throw it down to 5 if it's a referral and I know you, but I'm gonna go in with photography. What is it? Aerial view, tour. I'm gonna give my all in that. But yeah, 6%.
Plus, to get them the highest price. Like I think all that a consumer cares about is how much money they're netting.
That, and then I also have to figure out and keep this in mind. And it's funny because there's an agent that I just spoke to that does the same thing. I have to keep this in mind. If the seller doesn't want to credit, which I know we've had issues, people don't want to credit, they want a net. If the seller doesn't want to credit because of something, guess what? I can go and dig into my commission and do them that favor. And then you come out like the hero. But yeah, why not 6 or 5?
I think people will start seeing commissions increase from 2%.
I hope so.
Because the way the market is, and sellers, they're going to have to offer more. So I think that, Sonia, I think you're right. They're going to have to
see the $1 out there.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
No, I think, I mean, it was, a lot of it is the agent. The agent goes in there and says, I'll do it for 3 or 4% or whatever, and then they want to offer less to the buyer's agent because you could sell the home, with your eyes closed. You had 50, offers, but that's not the case anymore. And so now, listing agents are going to have to go in there and negotiate a little bit differently, with the seller.
I just heard a story just recently. It was this past week, and I heard a story where an agent, I guess this is how easy it was to get a listing. And I don't know if Sonia, if you had this happen in your office, or Jennifer, or an agent, and this agent wasn't from our office. Just he got the listing. It was an over $2.5 million listing, so it's a high listing amount. But he really didn't have to do anything, and the owner wanted a higher price in regards to the offers that were coming in. Basically, he ended up firing that agent and told him, you really didn't do any work. That offer was just handed to you. You didn't even put in the work in for photos, for anything. No open houses, no anything. So I don't know about you guys, but that for me just makes me know that, yeah, we as agent, we that are on the field and we're dealing with clients, it's not, we're going to work, we have to work and put more effort and show our presentation and be that realtor, and don't let it come so easy, because now they're thinking, well, shoot, that was an easy sale, but that's not even the offer that I wanted. Get me a better offer. And the agent did not budge. So I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but I just recently heard this story and I'm like, oh, okay. Consumers want us to put in more.
Mm.
It's not because of how great we can look or how we come to the listing appointment. They want to see us work.
Well, I know a lot of them will definitely check. They want to see, your sales. They want to see your past sale. I know a lot of people are a lot of, when I'm speaking to them, they want you to come prepared. They want to see, what you've sold. They want to see, from your days on market. So they are more savvy, than they used to be.
Like a
Um,
resume.
yeah. So yeah, so all that's important, because like you're saying, there's going to be consumers that aren't really that educated. They just talk to one person and they're going to list, and then, hopefully they're happy with that. But then there's others that are more educated and are going to really, do their homework to make sure that they, hire the right person.
Yeah, it goes back down to the whole they we have appointments with them. We're not going to be the only one for the job. So yeah, just come in prepared. And I don't want to say the word resume, but just make sure you come in with stuff to back you up as far as what your business is all about and you being an agent, because yeah, they're getting super savvy.
What is the single most, important thing or advice that you guys would give for those listing appointments nowadays? Like when you're going into a listing appointment, like what do you feel? Because I'm thinking it's what you just said, the knowledge. You have to do the research, present yourself in the right way, know your market. But, aside from all of that, what do you feel would really benefit, agents going in to a listing appointment in this climate?
I definitely think it's important to always pre-screen who you're, what you're, so what you're up against when you go in. So, when you get that call, it's important to know what are their plans, where are they going, why are they selling, do they have to sell? You got to qualify your seller. That way, who you're working with, and you get there and you have all those facts based on the information that you gathered. And I think that's a lot of agents, I know, to struggle with that. Someone says, hey, I think my neighbor wants to sell their house. Okay, great. Let me send them a text message. Hey, I heard you want to sell your house. Are you available next Thursday? It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're going in blindly, instead of picking up the phone and saying, hey, I understand, you want to sell your home. What time's a good time for us to talk? Because I want, I have a few questions or whatever. And, get on the phone, get a feel for their personality, that way you show up ready. because you're going to work with people who don't care about anything. They want to know who you are, and they want to know that they're going to be able to communicate with you. That's all that matters. Then you have others that don't care anything about you. They just want to see the numbers, so you have to know how to show up.
And I think in this particular market, going back to something that Elizabeth said at the beginning, it just seems like all of those, going back to basics and having that personal relationship, really talking to the client, educating them, being educated. I think that it's going back to that a bit. Like when markets shift, it's needed a lot more than just, impersonal touches, talking to people, walking them through it, picking up the phone, meeting them in person, that type of thing.
Right. Because most people think all you want is a paycheck anyways. That's what everyone believes, which of course, we want to get paid for our time. But the thing is they have to feel that, we're there. Like she said, this other person, this agent didn't want to budge or whatever. But if they sign the contract at that price, I don't know where, how or what. So that I don't, there has to be more information to that story. But it's, if I'm going to sit down with a client and tell them, this is what you can expect, this is our list price, and then I get them that, and they wanted something else, like I said, I don't understand. But I just think that more than anything, take the time. Agents are just so fast. They're just so fast. I don't know why. It's the time isn't put into you, into yourself, as to, you're your most valuable asset. So, coming across, knowing the information. I mean, for me, it would be embarrassing if I showed up to an appointment and they're asking me questions about maybe even just a city in particular, because you can give them stats as California, but that doesn't apply, if they're in a certain city where maybe it's it's a more of a demand or less of a demand. But so I think knowing, preparing yourself, spending more time, because again, you're getting paid pretty decent money to handle that transaction. So, like I said, more than anything, just research, know your market, and that way, they trust you, because building trust is a huge part of that listing appointment. They need to know if they can trust you.
And knowing your client, what your client needs. I really like that part, because you have to know their situation. Where are they moving? Are they using that money to purchase another property? Are they using that money to purchase an investment? Are they going to need certain 1031 exchange,
Well, and
ideas,
that's it. Like you just
information?
said right there, 1031 exchange. I went on a listing appointment a week and a half ago, and the guy started telling me, can I do 1031 exchange? Now, if I didn't know anything about them,
There
I
you
would
go.
not be able to answer him. So I was able, obviously, because I do understand them and I'm familiar, I was able to talk to him as to why this is something, he could or could not do. And he was like, okay. So again, just
See, imagine if you
reassuring
would have
him.
faltered. Like, imagine if you would have faltered during that appointment and you would have said, you know what, I'm not too sure on what the qualifications are for a 1031 exchange. Let me research that and get back to you. Now, what that just told that client is that, well, she's in real estate. She should be versed in real estate. She should understand certain basic ideas of taxation, how it works, where to apply the money, how to do it. And you probably would have lost that listing, because I know for me, or I'm sure for you guys, if you had a professional come in, I mean, if I would have been having surgery on my ankle and my doctor would have told me, let me get back to you on how that works. I'll get with you tomorrow, but we're going to go in for surgery. I would have said, okay,
Yeah.
next, I'm going to another doctor that
Right.
can give me the answers right now.
I think that really quick, I think that, and it's going to sound like funny, but it just makes sense. We can't be a drive-through agent. And the reason why I say drive-through is because I keep seeing Sonia's like the Starbucks drive-through doing that. Like, we just can't be going in the house and then out, but we can't be a drive-through agent. We have to, be well-versed, well-equipped, know about the market share, know their market share, their community, their city, what happened down the street at the Joneses house, someone like got arrested, whatever. We need to know what's going on in their area. Another thing, and I think this would be something good for agents to know if they don't know this. If you're going to meet clients, or you probably were experienced clients with the 1031 exchanges, find out about 1031 exchanges, companies, people that can help you with that, so that you're more well educated, know a little bit more about title, know a little bit more of the grant deed. This is not the real estate exam, but now, like, if we sound, I kid you not, if we sound more educated about our product, about our profession, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to be in the drive-through. They're going to make us sit and have a 5-course meal, and they're going to stick with us. We'll leave a long-lasting impression. They're not going to want to interview anybody else.
They'll be comfortable with you. They'll
Yeah.
know that you know your stuff. That's
Developing that relationship and not being so cold, like when you walk into the house, let's not just all sit at the dining room table. Give me a tour of your home. Tell me more about your family. How long did you live in this house? What memories do you have? What memories do you want to create elsewhere? Paint the picture. Talk about them. Agents, we tend to talk about me, 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 me. What I can do. Look at how many I sold. I got this award. No, talk about them. Okay, if the ladies can talk about the following champions training, this is a private comment. And
Thank you, marketing team.
Yeah, no problem. We will.
We'll go ahead and promote that right now. We'll promote that for you right now.
No, and like the last one that that we went on, because we did the pre-screening, and she told us, I'm moving to Texas, this particular area, this is my time frame, blah blah blah. So we were able to interview a couple agents in that area and talk to them about referral and all that good stuff. So when we went in, part of our listing presentation, we had referral agents and kind of a step-by-step what to do. So that way, they contacted obviously someone that we're sending them to. So, obviously we get the credit for that too. And we stress the importance of working together as a team, to make this happen. So that's why I'm saying, had we not asked, we wouldn't know. It's like, where are you going? Oh, here. Oh, okay. Well, she's going to make the call on her own to find an agent, off Zillow or wherever they go, realtor.com. So that's why I'm saying you just have to always be a step ahead and be that resource for them. So that way, again, they feel that you care, that you're listening, and that you're doing some work for them, because it's stressful, to move to a different area. You don't know anyone, you don't know anything. So, you're trying to relieve all that extra stress. And I actually had an agent who went to the listing appointment. He told her he was going to interview other agents. He hadn't made a decision yet. And I told her, he told you he's moving to this state? And she's like, yeah, he told me that. Call an agent, get 2 or 3, call him back, have a reason to call him back, tell him, you know what, these are some agents, I wanted to send them to you, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, make a long story short, he ended up telling her to come back. He didn't end up interviewing any other agents, and he signed with her, and, they got the listing, and she ended up selling and, helping him relocate as well. So again, it just took that she was listening, that she paid attention to what he was looking for, because he was telling her, I'm calling agents, nobody answers their phones. And we know that to be true. Yeah. It's frustrating. You're calling, and I'll tell you, I wanted to invest in other parts of, states or whatever, and I'm calling different agents. They don't answer their call or anything. So it's nice when you as an agent say, you know what, I understand, but I work with these people and they're gonna, they're waiting for your call or whatever. So
here's an idea. So for anybody that's listening, that's out there, well, my dog is trying to get onto the screen. I mentioned the word resume, and it sounds like a cliche because, we're independent contractors and whatnot, but Sonia made a good point. Some homeowners, some consumers, they want to know our numbers, our stats. Where do we sell? Where do we specialize? What do we do? If we have designations, whatnot. Honestly, you can pick it up on Etsy. get a real estate template or make it on your own and create a resume, something long lasting. You can even put it in a little binder or whatever, and you can even put like your referral network that you have referrals in out of states and out like in other states. It's helpful so that when you do meet up with a client, hey, they have not just a business card, they have now like a folder or a binder, something. It doesn't have to be 20 pages, but something thin. And what is your, what are your goals, or what is your what we have with our office, our what we our expectations are for our clients, and what they expect of us, and what we're going to offer to them, our motto, something that we live by within our business. That will leave a long lasting impression, especially because of the position that we're in now, that we're creating relationships and we're networking, and we want to retain that relationship so that we can get referrals in the future. So it's an idea. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's, a very good point. I think that, sellers knowing what it is that people specialize in, what they know, showing them that. I think a lot of the time, I had one situation where a seller, they wanted to call and talk to me regarding certain insurances. And so, and the agent ended up getting the listing because, and this is something that maybe a lot of people aren't even aware of, but when you have a Remax franchise, or you have a C21 franchise, or any type of franchise, I mean, we're required to keep the best of the best insurances. It's a requirement, or else we wouldn't have the franchise. It's not a matter of just popping a sign on the front door and say, now we're open and we're operating, in business. And a lot of sellers, they don't realize that, where you go to, and nothing against, obviously, no brands. I'm sure there are some that do maintain the appropriate insurances for the companies, but they're not required to, and so, no, like, them knowing the security they have, like, with the company, the knowledge that the agent has, knowing that there could be an issue during transactions where, we do get very involved, and we have the ability and the resources to troubleshoot those issues, versus a lot of other, like, independents. A lot of the times they don't have that, just really telling the client what it is that we have to offer. I'm kind of happy we went off on this little bit of a tangent, to, like, service clients. I know we were talking about the quote unquote, recession. And I want to touch on that briefly because I think it's really important moving forward that, and I'll let you guys, reiterate and say what you want to say, because we only have about 10 minutes. As an agent right now, in my opinion, you need to be very versed in your profession. And it's time to do a lot of work on self-improvement. And that means a lot of research and a lot of knowledge on your field of expertise, which is real estate. Learn about the basics of taxation, so that when you're going in and you're talking to, and I know we're not CPAs and we're not, supposed to be giving that type of advice. However, if you know certain things, you can guide people on, let's say, inheritance issues, when how much money are children allowed to, inherit from parents without being taxed at a very high rate. Learn about all of that, because there are people that, are they're going to be in that situation when they're selling right now. They're trying to sell at a high. Learn about 1031 exchanges. How does that work? Because a lot of people, they do need to roll their money into a different property if they're selling. Learn about the consequences of taxation. Let's say they don't roll their money into a 1031 exchange. What tax bracket are they generally in? How much are they going to have to pay? What do they pay that on? Do they pay that on proceeds? Do they pay that on sale price? Do they pay that on proceeds minus, cost? Like, learn those things as an agent, because going in, it just makes you, very versed in your, profession. Learn about city issues. How do certain cities work? I mean, are they going to reassess property if you do additions? Like what does the city do? How do they function? It's always good to know. You might have clients, asking you those things. Just really take the time to learn your business. We're in real estate. Our product is real estate. And I feel like moving forward, that in this economy, it's going to be a huge, great opportunity for agents that put in the work and that get really well versed in their field of business. So it's not just a matter of taking the listing, going in and assessing the sale price and popping that property on the market. I mean, there's a lot more to that. And if you present yourself in the right way and you know these things and you learn these things, you're able to navigate like a whole array of clientele.
Yeah.
Because going in, they're like, that person knows exactly what they're doing. They are versed in real estate. They have the answer for me right away. I feel comfortable with them. I want them to sell this property. They're going to get the best price for me. And I'm going to give them their 6% because they know that, they're in good hands. I know, like, I'm going to pay somebody completely everything that they deserve for their expertise. So that's like what it is moving forward, to know your business. You can't expect to get paid like a professional when you aren't educating yourself and you aren't putting the work in to learn your field and learn your business. You're going to get beat out every single time by an Elizabeth or a Sonia getting out there. Like, they will go on the appointment and there will be that professional that knows their stuff. So that's really the thing that, with this recession, just remember 2/4 of a deficit. I mean, obviously the Federal Reserve says we're now officially in a recession. Well, yes, we are. We've had 2/4 of a decline. However, even though properties aren't appreciating at a high rate and the momentum for appreciation has declined, it's by a good 35-40%, they're not dropping. That's the thing, to like, the key to remember, they're not dropping. And even if it does drop a bit as inventory comes on the market more and more, it's going to reset over the long haul. Real estate always comes back. That is why it is the best and the most safe and the most profitable investment out there. It always comes back. And that's the thing to remind your clients about.
Yeah.
And investors. And then one more thing, and I'll turn it over for you guys to close. If, as agents, it is time to put that investor hat on. I'm telling you, it's the time of opportunity. Don't miss this time. Set yourselves up, start increasing your revenue, in one way or another. Even if you have to get side hustles, whatever it is you have to do, increase, your revenue. Look at your debt to income ratio. Start working, with start talking to bankers. I talk to my banker, Scott, all the time, because there's banking ideas and things that these bankers do that you can even pass on to clients. Like, there's things that they know that you can tell your clients that might have real estate portfolios, that need to move things around right now. So as agents, just prepare yourselves. We're heading into a good market where there's tons of opportunity, because believe me, that gap between the doers and the people that are sitting there doing, like, the doers and the non-doers, that gap is going to get a whole lot bigger in the next couple of years. So you want to be the one of the people that is rising in that gap. You don't want to be one of the people that's just sitting there missing the bus and declining during this gap. Like, you have, like, the power is in your hands. Not any one person can teach you everything. That's one thing that you need to Sonia is there to guide you. I'm there to guide you. Elizabeth's there to guide you, but you have to take your education into your own hands as well and learn these things. Read up on taxation, read up on 1031 exchanges, read up on, city issues, read up on how the economy is, dealing with inflation. Read up on all of these things to educate yourselves, because you've got to take these matters into your own hands to be educated right now. It's more important than anything right now. So I'll let you guys say your piece to close. Sorry, that was a little longer than I thought, but we have about 5 minutes. So you guys have any more thoughts on that?
Well, I just wanted to share again, like you said, reiterate to the agents, a recession is, it doesn't necessarily mean a housing crisis. So that's the key. The key is
There you go.
To be, to be that educating, the education that your clients are honestly looking for. They're looking for you right now. They're watching you and seeing where you're at. So it's so important. And I just really want you guys to really understand. I mean, you can research anything. Go to Forbes, go to Inman. There's information everywhere to educate yourself. Go to the MLS. I mean, it
Real
tells
estate
you a lot of
board.
stuff. The real estate boards. Oh yeah, absolutely. My agents know I'm in it. I share with them everything that I find out, and I explain to them, what information, what I'm getting from the facts that I'm reading, and it's super important. Like I said, more than anything right now, it's not the time to sit back and wait to see what happens. It's time to double your focus and your discipline on your work ethic. And a lot of times people think, oh my gosh, my phone hasn't rang for a week. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. And you know what? It's not that. It's the time for you to regroup, for you to come up with new content, because obviously people aren't calling you for a reason. So you have to find a reason to call them and
Yes.
give them information. So they're not looking for you for a reason. So that's why I'm saying, it's important to do that. So I don't know if Liz wants to say anything else.
Liz, you're the closer today. You're going to close this out and give your 2 cents.
Okay, so okay, my 2 cents.
You got 3 minutes.
So recession for me does not mean being depressed, eating cookies, or eating ice cream. Recession for me is adjusting. So we're all adjusting. Everybody's adjusting. So yes, get education. Another thing I want to put out there. Tom Ferry said this last week in his call. 5542. Call 5 people that you don't know, 4 follow-up conversations that you should have, and 2 videos every day. If you're not out there doing something, then I don't know then you're not selling real estate. Honestly, I hate to say it. You're not. You're just not doing anything. So do something. Lastly, food for thought, because this is very important that I picked up on this. 70% of people's net worth is in their home. Real estate is everything. Real estate is key. Educate yourself. Read a book, go online, stop not doing anything, show up to classes and show up for yourself. That's what I have to say. Show up for yourself, because if you don't show up, guess what? Jennifer, Sonia, and I will show up for you. That's my 2 cents. So I hope it wasn't too harsh, but I have to be realistic about it. We're in a thriving market. It's thriving, even though interest rates are going high, but who cares? There's a lot of opportunity. We're going to be running with it and moving forward with that.
Yes. And then getting back to Justin's, back to the training, like you're saying, make sure that you are looking at the Champions training calendar. So that way you attend to the classes. There's a lot of classes. And like Liz said, they're there to help you guys. If there's any classes that you want to see, or that anything you want to freshen up on, because right now's that time. Right now's that time to freshen up. You should be, like Liz said, practicing, your scripts, getting back into, when you're talking to people, what other questions they're going to be asking you? Do you have the information? Because a lot of us don't want to make the calls because we're like, well, what if they ask us this? Well, then get the information so you're ready to answer those questions. And again, become that resource. Video right now is key. I did a video over the weekend. I wasn't going to do it, and I was like, okay, I decided to do it. And a lot of my clients actually shared the video. And so it just showed me why am I stopped, talking to them. I need to do that more, and not so many reels, and I need to do more educational things, because again, they want to hear it. They need to hear it. So I did share my resume with Justin. I did tell him to share it with you guys, just so you guys could see. I do include it in every single one of my presentations, buyers and listing, because I want, them to know who they're working with. So I get questions all the time from new agents. Well, I don't have as much experience as you. What do I do? Well, guess what? People want to know your background as well. So there's nothing wrong with putting what your background is. And you know what? If you have to join a team and use whoever your team is as some of their, education and experience, obviously to yours, because they're there to help you. So that's just, some information.
Champions, let us know exactly what Sonia said. Anything that you guys want to learn about, anything you want educational wise, anything you want us to bring forward, let us know. We'll do it. We'll put a class on it. We'll teach you guys whatever you are looking to learn. Just let us know. And with that, our time is up. And this is a time of opportunity. So make this a powerful week. Bye, you guys. Thank you, Elizabeth and Sonia.
Bye.